You ever wait months for a game update only to feel like someone just handed you cold pizza when you were expecting steak? That's kind of what's happening with Clair Obscur, Expedition 33's patch 1.4.0. It dropped with some fixes we asked for, but fans not exactly throwing a party. This JRPG was one of 2025's biggest surprise hits, praised for its combat depth and unique art direction, but with expectations sky high for every patch. Even a small misstep can feel like a major letdown. So what went right in this patch? And where did things go sideways? Let's talk about the highlight first, the new Battle Retry feature. It's a literal game changer, or at least it could have been, if it had arrived sooner. This function lets you instantly retry failed fights, without trekking back through maps or reloading saves. So while it's great for newcomers or New Game Plus runs, veterans are left wondering, why now? This should have been there on day one. Aside from Battle Retry, patch 1.4.0 added a couple of quality of life improvements. There's now an autoplay dialogue feature in New Game Plus, making story replays faster. Also, Sandfall Interactive rolled out some performance and visual enhancements. That's all fine and appreciated, but let's be honest, these aren't exactly headline-worthy upgrades. Most fans were expecting something bigger. Co-op mode? More endgame content? New customization? None of that made it into this update. Then there are the nerfs, and oh boy did they stir up debate. First, Lune's thermal transfer skill. Turns out it was giving players extra turns without properly consuming earth stains. Patch 1.4.0 fixed that bug, but not everyone agrees it needed fixing. A lot of players had built entire strategies around that function. Now, those strategies are toast. The fix may be technically accurate, but the timing feels off, especially when other issues have been lingering much longer. Another surprise fix was the removal of a rare combo exploit involving second chance, healing boon, and protecting death. In certain scenarios, these could stack in a way that made characters invincible. But here's the thing. It was a niche bug, rarely triggered intentionally. Most players didn't even know it existed. So was it really harming the experience? Probably not. Players argue that the devs could have focused on more impactful changes instead of patching obscure tricks that added a little fun. The community's biggest gripe? Missed opportunities. Since launch, players have been asking for expanded boss rematches, difficulty scaling, better loot systems, and, most of all, co-op support. Mods have already made co-op possible in limited ways, and fans are practically begging Sandfall to make it official. Yet, patch 1.4.0 doesn't even hint that co-op or multiplayer is on the devs' radar. It's frustrating when the community is vocal, creative, and invested, but gets silence in return. Another point of concern, mod support. The Clair Obscur community is passionate and growing. People are tweaking the game for better UI, custom loadouts, and yes, even experimental multiplayer. Players want Sandfall Interactive to recognize this movement and at least offer basic mod tools. But as of this update, there's no sign that official mod support is coming. It's a letdown, especially for a game that thrives on strategy and replay value. The foundation's there, but the studio seems hesitant to build on it. It's also worth noting what this patch didn't break. Thankfully, performance seems stable, and the new dialogue autoplay feature is genuinely helpful for speeding up second playthroughs. The visuals remain stunning, arguably some of the best in a 2025 JRPG, and combat still feels tight. So no, the game didn't get worse. It just didn't get significantly better. And for a live service style title, just okay updates can feel like stagnation, especially when players are hungry for more content. So what should Sandfall Interactive do next? For starters, listen closely to player feedback, not just about bugs, but about features that enhance longevity. Players want content updates, not just balance tweaks, more endgame challenges, advanced difficulty modifiers, and maybe even a seasonal mode could breathe fresh life into Expedition 33. And if full co-op or PvP isn't feasible, how about asynchronous multiplayer? Something, anything, that gives the community a reason to stick around. To wrap it up, patch 1.4.0 isn't a total bust. It improves the experience for newcomers and smooths out a few rough edges. But for longtime fans, it's just not enough. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 still has massive potential, but potential only matters if it's realized. With such a strong core game, Sandfall Interactive needs to match that brilliance in their post-launch support. Because right now, it feels like we're playing a masterpiece stuck in maintenance mode. And honestly, this fanbase deserves more. Let's also talk about communication, because it matters. Sandfall Interactive has built a passionate fanbase, but part of the frustration with patch 1.4.0 stems from a lack of clear developer communication. There was no detailed roadmap leading up to the update, no major teases or community Q&As. When updates drop out of nowhere with only minor fixes, it can feel like the developers are working behind closed doors. In 2025, players expect a bit more transparency, especially when they're investing dozens of hours into a game and supporting it post-launch. The patch also reignites a conversation about how devs prioritize fixes. Players are wondering why bugs or exploits that didn't break the game were addressed before other more pressing issues, like missing accessibility options or bugs with controller mapping. Accessibility in particular is a big deal. As the gaming world becomes more inclusive, titles like Clair Obscur have to evolve with it. Players are asking for subtitle customization, UI scaling, and colorblind modes, none of which showed up in this patch. And here's something we can't ignore. Expectations grow with popularity. When Clair Obscur Expedition 33 first launched, it was the little JRPG that could. Now it's a standout title in the genre, so updates are being judged against much higher standards. Patch 1.4.0 may have been acceptable 6 months ago, but now it feels undercooked. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It means fans care. But Sandfall has to recognize that continued success means delivering content that matches the level of enthusiasm they've cultivated. In the end, Patch 1.4.0 serves as a reminder. Even great games need strong follow-through. Quality of life features are welcome, but they're not enough to maintain momentum on their own. The community isn't asking for perfection. They're asking for evolution. As we look ahead to future patches, all eyes are on Sandfall to deliver the kind of update that doesn't just tweak numbers, but reignites excitement. Because at the heart of all this feedback is one truth. Players love Clair Obscur, and they just want it to live up to its full potential.